Hey, I'm Napolitano here from Writing and Fire, your health supplement copywriter. Hope you're having an awesome Saturday so far. I wanted to shoot a quick video for you talking about a really important concept and something that frankly holds all of us back in different areas of our lives at one point or another without us even realizing it. It's called assumed constraints. And it doesn't matter how successful we are, whether we're just starting out with our business or freelancing career, or even if you're running a successful 7 to 9 figure company, we all suffer from assumed constraints at different points in our lives. And there's a good chance you might have one holding you back right now, preventing you from making progress as fast as you could be and holding you back from achieving your goals. And so my goal for this video is to give you a little insight to hopefully get the wheels turning in your head and be able to identify potential assumed constraints that are holding you back right now. Because the first step to breaking free from an assumed constraint and making faster progress in any area of your life is being aware when you do have an assumed constraint. So I'm reading a book right now. It's pretty cool. It's called The Adweek Copywriting Handbook by Joseph Sugarman. If you're a fellow copywriter or marketer, chances are you probably already read this. I'm a little late to the party, but he has a chapter on assumed constraints. And so what I'd like to do is read just over a page from that chapter because he uses a really interesting metaphor of the circus elephant to drive this point home. And I think it's a pretty good analogy or pretty good metaphor. It is a little bit sad, fair warning, because it talks about a baby circus elephant. I certainly don't condone the use of circus animals or that type of treatment of animals in general. But like I said, it does explain the concept of assumed constraints pretty well, I think. So let's go ahead, read this real quick, along with a couple examples that he gives. Have you ever looked at a circus elephant anchored to the ground? If you have, you might notice that elephant has a metal collar around its leg, to which is attached a small chain. And the chain is attached to a wooden peg driven into the ground. Pretty good protection? Pretty lousy if you ask me. That 12,000-pound elephant could very easily pick up its foot and with one fell swoop yank that peg right out of the ground and walk away. But the elephant doesn't. Why? I'll explain. When that elephant was still a baby, that same collar and chain and peg were used to hold the elephant in place. The restraint was sufficient to hold the baby elephant in place even if it wanted to break away. And break away is indeed what that baby elephant tried to do. So every day while the baby was chained up, it would pull at the chain and pull until finally a cut appeared on its leg, exposing the more sensitive layers of deep skin tissue. It hurt to pull like that, and soon the baby elephant, realizing the effort was both futile and painful, stopped trying to escape. As the baby elephant grew older, it never forgot that bad experience with the chain and the peg. And so whenever it was anchored down in a spot, it would think, hey, it's impossible to break away, and besides, it hurts. The adult elephant had what I call an assumed constraint. And all of us have the same problem to one degree or another. We all have the power, for example, to be great copywriters. But at one point in our lives, we may have written something and gotten a bad grade in English. Or we may have attempted to communicate something in writing to somebody else and had a bad experience as a result. As we've grown older, those hurt feelings, those feelings of inadequacy, and the wrong guidance we may have received from teachers or friends are still in our subconscious, and whether we want to admit it or not, they really do affect us. If you understand the hurt and you understand some of the constraints we put on ourselves, then you're better able to cope with breaking out of those assumed constraints and becoming anything you want to be and accomplishing anything you want to accomplish. I think that's pretty insightful. And a couple examples Joseph gives from his own copywriting career. One was with selling an expensive pinball game through the mail. He was repeatedly told, you can't sell a $600 pinball game through the mail. Yet he went on to sell over 3,000 units at that price point. Nice little chunk of change. Another example, at the time, he was selling a calculator that was not doing well at all in retail. It was a complete bomb in retail. And so, again, he was told, how are you going to sell it through the mail? Like, it's bombing in retail. It's not going to happen. Yet he went on to sell over 30,000 units of that same calculator at a $60 price point. Now, a couple historical business-related examples. One was there's no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. That was said by Ken Olsen, president, founder, and chairman of Digital Equipment Corporation in 1977. Well, we know how that turned out, right? Another example, the concept is interesting and well-formed, but in order to earn better than a C, the idea must be feasible. This was said by a Yale University management professor in response to Fred Smith's paper proposing reliable overnight delivery service. As we know, Fred Smith went on to found FedEx. So again, I'd say he was pretty successful with that. Those are just a couple examples. Like I said, I don't want this video to go on for too long, but hopefully that metaphor and those examples really drive home the concept of assumed constraints and maybe gets the wheels turning for you a little bit so that you can identify any potential assumed constraints you're struggling with right now that are keeping you trapped and keeping you from achieving your goals and robbing you of potentially some of your biggest breakthroughs and successes. So hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic of assumed constraints too. So, feel free to drop a comment below. And yeah, thanks again for watching. See you in the next video.